MVPs have MVP moments, and this entire stretch for James Harden, he showed off why he got the hardware a year ago. That game against the Dubs Thursday night, you forget just the numbers with the 44, the 10, and the 15, and we've seen the triple-doubles, but the shots late, the incredible nature, the confidence, where almost you just knew they were somehow going to find their way in, which has put him in to the top spot of Seku's MVP ladder at number 1, Giannis, Steph Curry, Kawhi, and PG-13, who certainly belongs on that list.
Like the PG-13 appearance for sure.
You're upset about something?
No LeBron James, Sekou.
Well, Seku's just, he's acknowledging the fact that he's out injured. I'm going to.
I mean, no Kevin Durant, no LeBron James.
Sekou, you can find Jed on Twitter. What's your name?
At Jason Terry 31.
There you go.
You said MVP moments, by the way. James Harden's had an MVP month.
He has.
It is remarkable
He has.
how prolific he's been.
Yes, it has been an amazing stretch. And you talk about the offensive stretch of Nikola Vucevic. It's been pretty impressive as well. And he showed it off against the T-Wolves. 22-7 in the game and won. Lead 6. Jonathan Isaac. Griff, we've seen him grow this year. I mean, you know, certainly not in size. Needs to still put some on outside of that height. But
well, he was in one of the under-the-rim shots there that we saw, got crossed over, and he was still right there. The kid defensively has a chance to be special good. He's a long way away from it because he hasn't even grown into his body yet, but he is a truly fascinating talent in Orlando.
Magic take over. You saw Vooch with a tip in. Aaron Gordon coast to coast off the steal. Lead 14. And then a big night for a guy who's always, seems to be underrated. Jeff Teague puts up kind of similar numbers almost every year wherever he's played.
Yeah, it's funny. When Jeff Teague is healthy, Minnesota is a dangerous team because you can also pair him in the backcourt with Derrick Rose, who's having a decent year this year. And they got two of the better guards in the league as far as being able to break the defense down and create offense for others and finish at the rim, as he went 8 for 10 tonight. I mean, the kid can play.
And far away from the rim with a big 3 at 23, 10 assists, 4,000 career assists. Congrats to Teague. Towns, damage inside and outside. 29 and 15 for the Cat. And the Wolves take care of business against the Magic, 120-103. And you look at Teague, you mentioned the efficiency, 8 of 10, adds 10 assists, was brilliant. When Karl-Anthony Towns is aggressive and getting points as a way different team.
Yeah, they're a totally different club that way, and he needed to be that way because D. Rose has had a really, really, really good year. In terms of what anybody had any right to expect, he's been spectacular, and they've let him play the two-guard role the whole time. So the point you were making about he and Teague together, it's absolutely true. And he paired very well with Tyus Jones at times as well because he's playing almost exclusively, too.
Magic, they like size. Rebounds, though, apparently with the size, they out-rebounded by 20 nearly.
Not so much.
That's not going to work. They used to have that Nobody Beats the Wiz for you kids who never had to buy CDs. It's been a lot of people beating the Wiz. Hassan Whiteside off the board. How about a jump hook for good measure? Lead 10 for the Heat. Bradley Beal, the corner. Nice look from Trevor. It's good. He had 16 at the half. We're tied at 46. And then Jet more from Whiteside, who's certainly got the talent, 21 and 18 boards in this game.
There is no doubt about it that he has the talent, but can he produce consistently on a night-in, night-out basis?
Jeff Green still going. He, J.J. Barea, your boy Dirk, and others are going to be just, like 10 years from now, just scoring points.
Maybe their most consistent player this year in many ways. On minimum contract, a really good acquisition for them this offseason.
More save for him or less save for the rest of the team to be debated. Meanwhile, no debate here. Big run for Miami, 15-4. Johnson at 18. They led by 11, but Ariza keeping things close. A three-pointer in the corner. He had 21.6 assists. Lead was 5. And then Jason D-Wade.
D-Wade's having an all-star year this year. He's going out on his terms, and you got to love it. Veteran, and he's keeping the young guys motivated.
Wizards making things interesting late in the game. Bradley Beal, pull up 3 in transition. He had 33 points, 9 boards, 7 assists. But then justice would be served. Speaking of players we're watching grow, Griff, Winslow with 13.
This is the most non-traditional point guard in the NBA since he was inserted into the starting lineup, and all he's done is produce on both sides of the ball.
Beal and Wade exchange a pair of threes. And the lead and the win, a 6 for the Heat over the 500 mark. Wizards dropped to 15 and 24 despite big night for Beal, 33, 9, and 7.
I can't read those numbers. My retinas were burned by their floor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it's I thought it was by the play of the other team. But either way, we talk about retinas being burned.
Jack, Lord,
is it
that
raining?
is special right there.
Was
boys
it
and
raining?
girls.
I don't know what fashion is anymore when I look at courtside certified. You'll
I
find out
got it.
why.
That's the drip.
Oh, the drip.
That's the new thing. It's the drip.
No, sure.
Drip
Griffin and I
jacket.
have the drip.
So this brings us into the conversation of just the stretch that the Rockets are on right now. You see how many people are contributing on their team, not just James like we talked about, but just a reminder, they're doing this with Chris Paul dealing with the hamstring injury, which I feel like is being overlooked.
Yeah, Ed, you're totally right. And now you got to give credit to Austin Rivers, who's kind of taking over the other ball handling duties and also other guys on their team. And I want to ask Brendan Haywood, because this is his area. We know Clint Capella's a guy who's great hands, dive, and dunk, but the numbers on the rebounding, that's not James Harden. Talk to me what he's done from the first couple of years to start to get these type of numbers.
I think the biggest thing for Clint Capella when you watch him, he's active. And you rarely see possessions that he takes off from a rebounding standpoint. He's always hitting the offensive glass. He's chasing the ball down. And I love rebounders that can rebound outside of their area. You played against guys like Kevin Garnett that were excellent at boxing out on one side of the rim and going and chasing the ball all the way to the other side. Those guys that are truly special rebounders, and that's why Clint Capella can rebound so well. He's a next-level athlete, and he has a really high motor.
And he keeps moving. And as a defender,
Yes.
do you want to chase a guy around all game and then into overtime? I mean, you have moments where you take breaks. And when you have an active player like that, that's when he can catch you just a few times a game that can really make a difference. So James Harden, this sparks all sorts of conversation about where he stands as the best offensive player of all time and in the MVP race. And our own Roz Gold tweeted, she said, I asked James Harden if he consciously is hungry for winning another MVP. And he said, I need it. I need it for sure. And I'm going to get it.
I love it.
Love it.
You guys believe it?
I love it.
And obviously Brendan said it best, and we all know that when we were, talking our meeting. You got to win games to be the MVP, and so that means he has to understand that he's going to have to elevate his team to get back to at least 3 in the Western Conference to have a conversation to get there. And the numbers he's putting up, though, right now, he's jumped up to that ladder for me as number 1 as of right now.
I love the comment. Now James does have a lot of haters. There's a lot of people that hate James Harden for some reason.
Well, I'm not going to lie. When he sits there on camera and says, you're witnessing greatness, how can you not tell that you're watching greatness? And I don't want to misquote him, but I get a little bit put off by it. And I love confidence. I love watching Joel Embiid talk trash. I love that part of the game. I think it's so fun. But there is a part of his confidence that irks me a little bit when I watch it. It's just a natural instinct.
I don't think that it's all cockiness. I think he's tired of hearing about people talking about other things beside these numbers and the win streak. James Harden is winning basketball games, scoring 45 nights in a row, 35 or better, 9 nights in a row. That's incredibly hard to do. And all we have is some people that get up on set and talk about how many times he gets fouled, his usage, he dominates the ball. Guess what? Who else do you want to dominate the ball? If James Harden isn't shooting it, do you want Clint Capella creating his own shots? No, you do not. James Harden is playing great. His team is winning right now, and he says that because he's mad that too many people are taking the focus off the fact I'm playing excellent. I've played my way back into the MVP race, and all people want to talk about is how many times I get fouled. So I don't mind the comments, and I also think his comments about MVP get misconstrued. A lot of people think that means he also doesn't want to win a title. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Just because he said he wants to be MVP doesn't mean he doesn't want to be an NBA champion as well.
For me, he's getting fouled.
Yes.
I mean, he creates the contact, and for me,
Stop fouling.
The one thing is impressed me is, I've played in the league, you played in the league, Brendan, to be able to take that many hits and still have that much left to be able to knock down threes with that. You talk about a guy, even though he creates a lot of space, he's getting doubled, he's getting tripled. He has to beat his guy when he drives and beat the second and third guy. And to be able to do that and shoot 90, 89, 90% and also be able to carry the team, it's phenomenal what we're watching right now.
Well, it's one thing to do it now before the All-Star break. But as we've seen in the past, he runs out of fume late in the playoffs because of the usage, because of the hits, because of the amount of minutes. As a coach, as a teammate, as James Harden, how do you manage being ready and being elite in the postseason, but also knowing I have to carry my team out of this funk the way we started the season, and I do want to play at an MVP level?
I don't think you can manage it. The Western Conference isn't somewhere where you can say, hey, we're going to manage your nights, we're going to manage your reps, we're going to manage your usage.
Unless in the past, unless you're Golden State.
Yeah,
you know?
Golden State can do that. They have 4 studs. Houston, it's James Harden. He's a one-man band. Last night, that was like watching old school Batman with Adam West take on the Joker, the Penguin, and all his bullies. That's what it was like. And so James Harden really can't afford to sit out games, or he can't afford to have low usage, because do you want Daniel House creating his own shots? No. Do you want to give Gerald Green the ball 15, 17 times a game? No. You want the ball in James Harden's hands. With Chris Paul out, they have to give him high usage. Will he do it in the playoffs? I don't know. But James Harden we might be witnessing the greatest regular season run in a 2 to 3 year span that we've ever seen from the 2-guard position.
And I totally agree. I think the one thing he should do, and he must do, Brendan, to get over that hump in the playoffs, he's going to have to trust his teammates more. And his usage is going to be still the same thing, and you're going to have to empower those guys. Because if they have guys making 13, 14 points from Austin Rivers, Gerald Green has to be consistent. Daniel House has to be consistent. Austin Rivers has to be consistent. If he can get those guys to where they believe and they're going to trust in him, and he does get it off and pass it a lot, just got to make sure they keep making shots, because if they're making shots, you can't double him, and he will have a tough out if he does that.
He has had his playoff faults, and so he's had it's a timeline from OKC up until now where you've looked at him sometimes in the playoffs and you've kind of squinted your eye. But in the regular season, hasn't been too many better than Big Game James these last 3 years. I'm just going to tell you that.
Barber.
Oh, yeah. In the regular season, James Harden, hard to guard that guy.
It's very hard. So let's transition this conversation quickly just into Golden State. Blown out on Christmas Day. They've lost 3 at home now. Just inconsistency that we're not used to seeing over the last 2 months. Your thoughts on the inconsistency?
You know, the one spot we kind of nitpick over the years has been a center spot. But they used to have it done by committee, whether it was Zaza Pachulia, whether it was David West, whether it was JaVale McGee. This is the one area right now they are missing the young guy Damian Jones, where they don't have a lot of guys in that middle, and they're starting to play small ball, and it's catching up to them. They are missing Boogie Cousins, and they also missing Damian Jones. In my opinion, that's the one area where they're also not as good, and I think also they've been to the playoffs and the finals 4 years. It's just got to wait. They're going to be measured by playoffs versus regular season.
I think it's the combination of the two things you just said. I think it's, first of all, the 5 spot is a sore spot for them. The boogeyman is coming, and they need him. JaVale McGee was big for this team last year, especially in the playoffs. They don't have him right now. Draymond Green has not played well. That's something that you have to talk about. But then when you look at the Bulls and their 2 3-peats, the last year on those 3-peats were the years they won the least amount of games in the regular season. And that just comes because when you go on those runs, it just wears on you. It wears on you physically, it wears on you mentally. And sometimes the Golden State Warriors probably don't come out with the right mindset for certain regular season games. But best believe you me, when the playoffs start, they'll be there.
All right, guys, we have a lot of other games to get to, mostly tonight's games now that we've
Tonight's game. We're gonna talk about
I know, right?
Okay.
Do we have to move on? They better be as good as Thursday night. I don't think so.
I love this.
Grizzlies getting ready to take on the Nets. A little pregame photo action going on.
Hey, Grizzlies got a lot of fight in them. They're going to come out fighting tonight.
Selfie. We'll talk Grizzlies
They're
and
a little
Nets
handsy over
coming
Yeah,
up after
and the Grizzlies got a lot of fight in that